This meeting was called in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law, C-231 PL 1975, and notices were forwarded to the Asbury Park Press and the New Coaster to board members and were posted as required. Our mission statement, Asbury Park School District will provide all students with a comprehensive and progressive education where everyone possesses the skills and character to succeed in a diverse, evolving global society. Mr. Hastings, roll call, please.
Mr. Breach. Mr. Grillo. Here. Ms. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Morocco. Here. Mr. Sinsky.
Here.
Mr. Pinckney. Here. Mr. Saunders. Ms. Etienne.
Here.
Ms. Alexander.
Here. Will you please stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Thank you. We now have the public participation in accordance with Board Policy 0167. If you have any questions or comments, please come to the lectern. You have 3 minutes. Please, please state your name and your address, please.
Jan Sparrow, 2nd Avenue. I own Words Bookstore, and as a former teacher, one of the things that I find challenging about the Asbury Park schools is people still don't get that they're better. And I'm constantly having to defend the school system here because people somehow still have that old mental model that the schools are not okay. And I don't know, I think I've said here and there, if there was just a way, I know you put it out on Facebook or Twitter or all the things you probably do, but I'm a former college and high school debate coach, and I really know what the kids at Asbury Park High, when they went to the Harvard debate camp, I really understand how hard that was because I used to teach at those debate camps. And yet I don't think people in this community really understood the amazing thing that they did when they brought back the winning debates from that particular camp. So I just don't honestly wish I had an answer. I don't know how you let the community know more and more about how the schools have improved. People still think they're terrible. They're not. I've mentored these kids. I have the intern programs in my kids. I've done the science fair judging. I've been all over your schools, and I think they're great. My question is this whole tax thing, and I'm only bringing it up because people yell at me all the time about it. So I would really like to have some nice 140 character way to explain to people when they come in the store, so our taxes are going up because the stupid ass schools in Asbury are so terrible. So I think I know, right? I see the nonverbals and I get that it's 93% of the message, but somehow if we could figure out a positive way to talk about it to the community, it's hard, I'm sure, but they have to understand that we have to have great schools, and our schools are getting better and better. So that's my question. How do we explain it in a more positive way? Or is there an explanation? I don't know. I mean, I know there is one, but help me do it better so I can do it better for my customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan. So I asked Angela if I could answer that question. In short, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about during the town hall portion. So stick around for 2 minutes, and we're going to start that whole part of it. It's kind of like a formal meeting agenda, so we're gonna do that. But the answer is we hope that after this town hall portion, that you leave here with information that you can impart on people. And so thank you for that.
Thank you, Joe. Is there anyone else for the public participation? So it is now closed. And now we are going to enter into our town hall meeting. First of all, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you for attending this evening. And I would like to take this time to introduce you to our board, as well as to our superintendent, as well as our business administrator and other staff members that are here. But first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Angela Alves Anderson, and I am the board president. And I'm going to now turn it to my vice president, Ms. Sheila Etienne.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Etienne. I am currently the vice president of the board. I've been on for about 3.5 years. This is most of the way through my first year. It has been a pleasure. It has been a little challenging, and it's getting a little more challenging, but I do have a great appreciation for the skill sets that the other 8 people on this board bring, and we work very hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Etienne. Also, I'd like to let you know that Ms. Etienne, as well as Mr. Grillo, Ms. Etienne is the chairperson of Buildings and Grounds, and she and Mr. Giuseppe Grillo are the ones who are responsible for putting this town hall meeting together. This is part of our board goals, and they have done an excellent job. So I'm going to now introduce you to Mr. Joe Grillo.
That applause is for them. So my name is Joe Grillo. I've been on the school board now for almost 3 years. Is that when we run? 3 years ago? Almost 3 years. And I could say that it's been probably one of the most challenging parts to Asbury Park. I always say that it's kind of like the missing link that we need to all come together and solve. Asbury Park, I've lived here for now 14 years. I've been involved in all kinds of different things, but the one thing that I think we really need to strive to constantly try to do better and reach for higher goals is our school system. And I thank Sheila for helping me put this together, and this is the first of many other town halls that we're going to have all throughout the city this school year. So thank you for everybody coming up, and I'll pass it to Angela.
Thank you. And now I'm going to introduce you to our chairperson of Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Eric Bickney.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Let's see. I've been on the board since I ran with Carol and Joe. Been almost about 3 years, and I'm I have very strong feelings about what is good for the students, especially with programs. I know there's one thing that we're starting, and as the chair of Curriculum and Instruction, I'm very happy that we're starting. Gotta get the name right. I think I wrote all this down. Hold on, sorry. The Visual and Performing Arts Academy. I think that is really important for the students to come up in the arts and to be able to express themselves through music and dance and all the other things that come along with those programs. Let's see. Something that we've started that has been going on is the students have put together in the program so far some visuals. It's over in the corner where they have put together things demonstrating the city, and also in the corner there's it's a harp that's made out of a hula hoop, and I think that's some things that they really are interested in getting in the talent portion of their academics and learning about the arts and music and dance and everything that comes along with that. And maybe later on we'll go into more discussion about that, but thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Pickney. And now we have, when I say senior, doesn't mean an age. She is, I have Ms. Barbara Lazinski, who has been on the board for some time, and she's experienced, she's an asset to the board. And Ms. Lazinski, you are the chairperson of policy.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out. My name is Barbara Lasinski. I've been a resident of the city for, I think it's 34 years now. I did work for the city for a little while. I sat on the Housing Authority as a commissioner for 4 years in the 90s. And now I'm on the Board of Education off and on for 10 years. It hasn't been 10 years straight, but 10 years I've served. And right now I'm the chair of the policy committee. And You know, we have a lot of things to do this year, and it's going to be a lot of planning, a lot of community engagement, and we want people to ask questions because we want people to be as supportive of our students as we are.
Thank you, Ms. Lozinski. And now we have another certified board member. Did I mention you were certified, Ms. Lozinski? You Yes, we know that. But she's also a certified board member. And also Mrs. Jones, who has served in our district for the last 14 years. She's now retired. She has been a nurse here in the district. You probably will know her from the Thurgood Marshall, Mrs. Carol Jones. She has served as chairperson of curriculum and instruction. Ms. Jones, introduce yourself, please.
Well, I'm very happy to be here tonight and happy to see all your happy faces. I was the school nurse at Thurgood Marshall for 14 years, and I've been on the board now for almost 6, and my second term. I'm really happy to see everyone here tonight, and hopefully we'll clarify a lot of points of interest. And I am thrilled with what has gone on in the past 6 years, and not necessarily because I am here, but because we have an excellent administration, and they've done a tremendous job working with our students. And I think you, as I do, I see so many changes in their behaviors outside as well as in the school, and I'm very proud of them and our administration.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. And now, Mr. Dominic Lataraka, he is the chairperson of finance. And you probably know him from the delicious donuts from Purple Glaze that he always brings to our meeting, and we truly enjoy. Mr. Lataraka.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, I just did an emergency text to my wife. I left the donuts on the kitchen counter. So we'll see if they show up. I've been on the board for 3 years now. I do chair the finance committee. So I've taken that time and right on cue, here they are. I have taken that time to try to learn as much as I could about the New Jersey system for school funding, and we'll try to partially respond as well to Jan's question about how to simplify the message, where funding has been, where it is now, and open up a discussion of the kinds of things we can look at to address our funding issues in the future. So again, thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Lataraka. I'm Angela Albiz-Anderson. As I have mentioned to you, I've been on the board for, well, since 2011, and served as board president several times. And it has been a pleasure. It is a pleasure. I have seen the district in the bad days. So happy to see us moving forward, making gains and strides. We're doing some innovative things here. I'm proud to serve with each and every one of these members. I said that Ms. Lozinski is an asset, but actually all 8 of them are an asset. They all bring a special skill set here, and we work as a team, and that's the beauty of it. We are not divided. We may disagree or agree, but we are a team. And that's the beauty of being a board member here, so I am proud to serve. In our midst, we also have our superintendent, Mrs. Sansha K. Gray.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. If you see me on my phone, it's because I want to capture and engage people through social media, because I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our community to be engaged in and by our board members. So thank you for hosting this tonight.
Thank you. We also have our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Edwin Ruiz.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here today, working very hard to make sure that our students have all that they need to become incredible students and keep the educational process going forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Ms. Lauren Jackson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Jackson. As Ms. Albiz-Anderson stated, I am the supervisor of curriculum and instruction for early childhood, preschool through 3rd grade. As everyone stated, thank you for being here, and we are very excited for all of the exciting and innovative things moving forward into this school year for our children.
Thank you. Ms. Sonia Irizarry, did I pronounce it correctly? Yes. Ah, yay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Rizari. I am the District Bilingual Community Parent Involvement Specialist. It's a pleasure to be here and to see some of our students and parents. And I am looking forward to a fantastic year involving the parents and bringing up all these amazing things that we have going on in our district with our community and with the families. Thank you.
Thank you. And who doesn't know Miss Roberta Buford? Ms. Buford.
Good evening, everyone. As Ms. Anderson said, I am Roberta Buford, Director of Daily Operations, and you can always find me out supporting the board and Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you. I call him the money man, Mr. Jeff Hastings.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, my name is Jeff Hastings. I'm the Business Administrator and Board Secretary, and we're looking forward to a tremendous year, starting with the students coming back in about 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to rolling out some terrific and innovative programs.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. Ms. Jackson, please tell them who you are with your lovely self.
Hi, I'm Shanta Jackson. I'm responsible for district communications as well as central registration. You see me tweeting and posting on Instagram. I'm really excited to share this information with our community. Thank you.
Thank you. And board counsel.
Hi, I'm Adam Weiss. I'm with the Bush Law Group. I am thrilled to be working with the Asbury Park Board of Education. It holds a special place in my heart as my mother graduated here in 1965.
Yes. Thank you all very much. And the gentleman over here on the camera is Mr. John Caplow. Okay. I'm now going to turn the mic over to Mr. Grillo and also to Vice President, Ms. Etienne.
Thank you, Angela. So when we, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna sit, because I've been standing all day. My knees are killing me. So when we decided that one of our board goals was to get out more and be more accessible, more transparent to the voters and the taxpayers and the public in general in Asbury Park. We got together. We did almost like we did a similar town hall meeting about 9 months ago, a year ago, which was a great trial run. We kind of learned what worked, what didn't work. One of the things that we didn't want to do was do big, huge, boring PowerPoint presentations with 300 slides. We wanted to have a discussion. We wanted to have a conversation. And most importantly, we want to make sure that this is the first of many, like I said before, throughout the school year. We're going to take the show on the road and have these kind of town hall meetings in places you wouldn't expect, not just, Bradley School, but also places like Words Bookstore or at the Homeowners Association meeting. They invited us to come and do one there. As part of our board goals, that's fine, but also just in terms of being public servants that want to hear the feedback, want to listen, and also want to clarify different myths and rumors that come about in a small town like Asbury Park. We like to call ourselves a city, but we're all in one small square mile town, and so that's why we're here. I'm really proud of this entire group. I know that Dominic and I have been talking for a while about addressing a lot of the concerns coming up with the cuts in school funding and in state aid, and that's something that we are going to address. And this is not just for the people that are attending here, but also the people at home that are going to be watching this. This is important information. It affects our wallets, it affects our quality of life, and it affects our kids. So I want to thank everybody for coming out here. And the thing that I'm most proud of that we've done in the past few years is reaching those new heights that everyone said couldn't be done. And we're seeing test scores go up. We're seeing our graduation rate explode from a few years ago. And I think we're on the right trajectory. So I'll pass it on to Sheila as well. Oh, sure. Eric, do you have any? Do you want to say anything else about performing arts?
Oh, okay. The district is working on various programs for the performing arts. Like there's, let's see, you got the Dream Academy, which is something that's been going on for some time now. We have the partnership with Allied Health and Public Safety. We also have the Performing Arts Program, which is funded in part by the Disney Foundation. That's something I was bringing up earlier. Right now they're accepting students for the school year 2019-2020, and they're structuring around music, dance, voice, theater, fine art. Currently collaborating with Lake House Music Academy, NJPAC, and the Disney musicals in schools. And they also district partnered with the Asbury Park African American Music Project and promotes student understanding of history of their community and exposure to different genres of music. I always felt like that was something that was very important for the students to get involved with, the arts, because that's an integral part of learning the whole process of what goes into their development. And so they'll be prepared for everything that's available to them. Not only just, how can I put it? Not only just what you learn in books, but also how you can express yourself in other ways through music, dance, anything that has to do with the arts. So they're artwork. So they're well-rounded individuals when they are growing up and out there in the world. There's other things that the district is going on as well, but I'll leave that up to whoever else is going to be speaking about the other parts of it.
So Eric went over a few of the programs that are currently in the district. I just wanted to cover a couple more. We have the Allied Health program that's very successful. We have the Law and Public Safety program, and we also have an engineering program, academy. So we have those three academies with the addition of the Performing Arts Academy, plus the Dream Academy, which is it ends in the student graduating from high school and obtaining an associate's degree simultaneously. So that's a great opportunity for them. We're going to move forward and now talk about what we're doing in terms of sustainability. That's going to be Ms. Lazinski.
Okay, one of the things that we have to do in the school district, like others, is to try to save money. And, you know, when you hear sustainability, it's now the new word that is going around. And it's timely because we are trying to sustain our school district in the years to come without being an overburden to the community. So the cost initiatives, when you talk about financing and what it costs us, we're in the school district, your facilities are fixed costs. You always have to pay the electric, the gas, you know, you have the roof over your head, you have to clean them. So part of the Sustainability New Jersey for Schools is to do certain things within the school year to try to get some money. There's grants available to help with programs. You can get $20,000 to do any type of a certain type of program. So money's an issue when you are a sustainable school. So we're in the process. Our high school is bronze, and one of the other schools just obtained a $20,000 grant. So that helps to supplement our general budget, which helps to save money in the long run. For example, we have water bottle stations here in Bradley School now, and that saves, when you talk about saving even at home, you want to reduce your disposal costs. So if you're not throwing plastic water bottles away, you're reducing your recycling costs and also garbage costs. Also, we're doing an energy audit, which, for example, replacing light bulbs with new and improved LED lights save a lot of money. You also switches that turn off the lights in a classroom when nobody's there, and et cetera. It goes on and on. It's similar to being at home. Also, we have the capabilities of monitoring some of our HAVAC systems in our buildings remotely, so that somebody gets on a computer, they can see that something is heating too high and there's nobody in the building, they can turn the thermostat down. Let's see what else we have here. That's about it. So these are cost-saving measures that we can take that, like in a home, you take at home, that will save us money. And these are things that can be saved every year because the facilities are always open because we have students.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so there is a looming conversation that has to be had, the elephant in the room, we would say, and that's money. We know that we're losing a whole lot of it, and there's several things that we're doing to best utilize the amount of money that we're going to have. And we're going to have Dominic speak on our financial conditions, and then we'll go into some of the things that we're doing, the major changes, overhauls that are going on in the district, that's going to maximize a lot of the programs that we have and deliver them to the most students. Mr. LaRocca?
Thank you, Sheila. So I'll just speak briefly because whenever I bring this up, my wife tells me I'm boring. So I think it's important for the community to know how, oh, and the other thing I'd like to do before I get started, I'd like anyone who attends Asbury Park schools to raise their hand. Hey, very nice to see you guys. Just briefly, how we get here. State government drives local school district funding. They employ a formula to determine what is the constitutionally required school budget, plugging a number of factors into that formula. Then they also employ a formula to determine how much a municipality should be paying toward that total amount. The latest state form major modification was done in 2008. At that time, the state decided, though, moving ahead, whatever the formula said your budget would be, they held the budget constant, what's often called a hold harmless provision, so that if the formula would have given a school district less money in 2009, 2010, 2014, you would still get the money that you were allocated in 2008. It was hold harmless, and that was done right up until 2018. I believe the three factors that have affected Asbury Park School District in those 10 years are: first, there's been declining enrollment. Second, the value, as you know, as an Asbury Park resident, the value of the properties in Asbury Park have increased significantly. That will address the formula of what Asbury Park should be paying toward the school district. And third, I'll get to in just a little bit, there's also been additional charter schools that are allocated taxpayer funding that goes to the Asbury Park School District and then to the charter schools. So as a result of those factors and others, now in 2008, the state legislation has said over the next 5 years, as Sheila alluded to, we'll be cutting over $20 million from the school budget. The other aspect of the formula, what should Asbury Park as a municipality be paying? The state formula is saying we should be paying 10 million more than what we're, approximately 10 million more. I'll always look over to Jeff for confirmation on my numbers, toward the school budget. So as Joe said, we want to start having a discussion off of questions such as Jan as to what has to be done. And clearly, it has to be a multi-channel approach when you're talking about that much money. You may have heard some of the things the school district is already proposing to consolidate resources and do that in a way that does not adversely affect the educational experience of the children in the classroom. So that involves looking at facility utilization and who might be in what facility doing what. And your point is a good one about, as we hear some of the new programs, we have to act a little bit more like a nonprofit business and market what we're doing. Maybe you've noticed if you buy the coaster every week, we this past year, the administration has been able to get a photo, an article, something about what Asbury School District is doing in the coaster every week. It's that kind of social media, another one. How can we expand our base and get what we're tweeting out to more and more people? How can we connect more with local businesses and residents to let them know, as Joe mentioned, how we've improved over the past few years and our plan for continuing to improve in the future. So marketing is certainly a component, because as more students, for example, come into the Performing Arts Academy, then the state funding formula says there's more students, and that 20 million plus number begins to be reduced. I think there's also a component of educating us as to a legislative agenda of what we have to be looking at from our state representatives. And I mentioned charter schools early on. You can say, I'm not going to say whether charter schools are good or bad, but what they do is they are funded by Asbury Park taxpayer money, and currently $10 million of the Asbury Park School District budget goes out to primarily 3 charter schools. Again, we can go and say, are they experiencing the same accountability? What's going on there compared to what's going on in our school district? And make sure we're just on a level playing field without saying one is bad or one is good. Just look for a level playing field in terms of how we're going to hold those schools accountable, just as we want to be held accountable. Another factor is, and something we've done, the administration's done a great job of, is grant funding. You may know we have after-school programs. We have a summer program. For some children, we're giving them breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner at times. And so if you read in some publications that our per student cost is astronomical, that always includes grant money, which to me is disingenuous. And I use that word because Jan is here, disingenuous. It's wrong. It's wrong. You don't penalize a district that's working hard to bring in additional funding. And actually, if you look at what Asbury Park School District has done over the past few years on the per student cost of taxpayer monies, we've gone down over the past 3 years, again, I'll look at Jeff, by about $2,000, from 28,000 plus down to 26,000, and that's the number we're looking at and how we can reduce it as we look at things like facilities. And finally, we must work in partnership with the city. We've had some initial conversations. We're having some more. I don't think at this point, we want to start throwing out some of the things we may be exploring until we get more of a sense of what's possible and what isn't possible with the city. But the city will be a critical partner as we look at what are their resources, how we can share them, or what they might need that we have, or what they have that we can use. And that can be a big part of reducing that number somewhat. So I believe our approach is not to say to taxpayers, homeowner association, oh, here's this state is saying 9 or 10 million and your property taxes are going to go up 9 or 10 million. Okay. I think I was done though. Did I do it? So that'll be something we can be a little clearer about to the homeowners association. So that's kind of the overview. And as we do these town halls, we're looking for feedback from the community. We would be open to all kinds of suggestions. Some could be great, some might not work, but we're going to be open and we're going to be willing to evaluate everything. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Angela.
You have okay.
I just wanted to add, since Dominic's talking about our finances, there's a lot of people that are new to our community and they don't know the history here. And I thought I maybe a little overview that if somebody had additional questions about it. The district, I think, first became under state monitor, and I think it was 1999. So we have been under the auspice of the New Jersey Department of Education with a state monitor since that time. We haven't been under the control of the state like some districts have, but we've had financial oversight. Also, I wanted to bring to people's attention that the money we received as an Abbott district, most of it stayed here. We didn't lose a lot of it. Programs were initiated, we got money for it. Program might have disappeared, but the money never did. So you utilize the money when you have it. Unfortunately, unlike, we were kind of like a family that somebody in the family loses a job. A family can go under unemployment. When they take that amount of money from a school district, we don't have any additional source to recoup that revenue. So we do have to really seriously consider, these cost-saving aspects so that we don't jam the taxpayer up with a huge financial burden. I just wanted to bring back a little bit of the history. There's a lot more to it, and I think people need to look into how Abbott districts were run and how those finances got to what you might call exorbitant.
Thank you, Ms. Lazinski. Mr. Grillo?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, a lot of what we do, we really trust the history and how far we've come. And we have a really great administration that we oversee. And one of the things that you're going to be hearing in the next few months going into next year is the plans that Superintendent Gray has put forth, a vision to kind of carry us forward, to try and cut wherever we can. And at least what I feel we should be doing is, and that we're going to be doing, is going out there more and having these conversations with residents of Asbury Park. Stop us on the street and ask us a question. If we don't know the answer, we'll get you the answer. We're your public servants. You're our boss. You got us here. You voted for us. And so it's up to us to communicate with you, but it's also just as important, if not more, to listen to your suggestions. And I put that call out to everybody that's watching, everyone that's here, and then if anyone else has any other questions, we'd like to hear from it. Oh, and our Deputy Mayor Amy Quinn is here, who's a huge supporter. I know you're leaving. Do you have any questions for us? Yes, Jeffrey.
Would you please come to the microphone?
If you're already talking about having to get rid of facilities or shutting down facilities, are you able to require the charter schools to use facilities that the city already owns rather than paying rent for their separate facilities? Is there like a legal question there?
Yeah. Would you like to answer that? Our board counsel will answer that question.
As far as I'm aware, the charter schools operate totally on their own with their own boards of directors or governing body, so to speak, and they are free to design whatever program they'd like, whatever facility they'd like, and unfortunately, it's on the backs of the taxpayers of the city, and those funds are essentially diverted from the public school and over to the charter school. So they do have quite a wide berth with regard to what they're able to essentially do for themselves.
Are there any other questions? So I would like to say this to you. Number one, for the first time, I believe in Asbury Park history, and you can correct me, never has a superintendent had to juggle or deal with such a heavy load. We're losing $24 million. And we still have children that we have to educate. And how do you do that? How do you continue to bring innovative programs and bring them in place? Keep staff in place. And all of our staff members are valuable. And who do you have to choose to let go and to keep? So it's a very difficult time for our superintendent, for our executive board. And so they need our support. That's why we are having these town hall meetings. You're going to hear from our superintendent her plan for us to move forward. She has already shared that with the community, and you will hear more. There's going to be some innovative ideas, repurposing of different school districts, of our school buildings. So just keep an open mind, and this is for you out there in the video there on TV. Keep an open mind because it's a heavy load, but we still have children. Our enrollment is decreasing and we're losing money, but we still have children who are just as important, that need education, that should be educated and given the best opportunity. And that is what we are doing here in this district. So I just want you to keep that in mind, please. Is there any other questions, any comments from the board members?
So just bringing it right back around to Jan's question, right? I think what we plan on doing is we want to be as transparent as possible, right? So Joe said, stop us on the street, speak to us, but the public does have to take the earnest on themselves too and kind of educate, read, find out what's going on, find out what fair funding is, find out what the formula is. Understand that we are losing a lot of students, and a lot of it is bittersweet because some of the students we're losing is because the housing is improving, but to improve the housing you have to displace the families, and now when you displace the families the students go out of district. So I think the conversation needs to remain open. We need to ask questions, we need to read, but everything you read is not necessarily true. So you have to kind of fact check also. So we're gonna fight the best fight we can. We're gonna continue to educate the children as best as we can with the resources that we have. And we want to remain open with working with the community, working with the city, and having different partnerships so that as we may lose something, we might gain something else. Because I know we also have a talented city a city full of talented people with many skills to offer also. So as we progress into the next 4 years, I'm hoping that the city steps up, not the city, but the people of the city generally, step up and kind of help us take on this mission.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. If there are no other questions or comments from anyone, then we thank you. Yes, but first let me thank you, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it. This is the first. We have another town hall meeting that will be coming up at the end of September. So again, we invite you to come out. Ms. Lazinski, would you please give us a motion to close?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.